You know what you're living in? Whether you believe it or not, you're living in the last days of the last generation of the last. That's where you're at. You say, how do you know about what they get away with? I think I guess, Jay, what do you say about that? Is that liberty and justice for all men? How about the 12 guys got murdered by a colonel who stood up and raised his hand and swore to keep the Constitution? But he's a Muslim. Well, you get 6 more of them charged with the other one. You can't kill any of them. You can't even kill them for murder. You pay the bill. All right. Verse 6. About counselors there to safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool. Well, for example, the fool has said in his heart, there's no God. That's there. Wisdom is too high for a fool. There's the fool in Luke. I'll build larger barns and I got a lot laid up and I'll eat and drink and have me a good time for many years. And God said to him, thou fool, this night shall thy soul be required of thee, and then who shall these things be? Well, here he is. Here he is. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He doesn't fear God. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. Well, that means you shouldn't take him as to be an elder because he's stupid. And if you don't make an elder and put him in the gate to judge things by, because he's a fool. Now, that gate is mentioned a couple of times, and the best time you'll see it in operation is in Book of Ruth. Where right toward the end of the book, when they're trying to get a husband for Ruth, the fellow who winds up marrying her goes by the gate and calls one man here and calls one man here and calls one man here. And those are elders he's calling there. And they sit down there, and there are always 12 of them. The idea is they represent the government of the Jew from one for each tribe. That's the gate. And they're getting on lock because of it. About the time they try to rape a couple of his guests, and he tells them not to do it. And then they make fun of him. So this fellow here came as a stranger. Now he wants to be a judge. He wants to be in charge of making the rules like the 12 elders that sit in the gate. And that's what that thing is there. You don't take a fool and put him in there, except in America. In America, you make them all fools. All right. Well, did you ever hear the Supreme Court praying to ask you or tell you where they got the information from for any decision they ever made? They just say it's not constitutional. Out it goes. It's constitutional to kill babies. That's constitutional. Yeah. And it's constitutional to promote and help sodomites. But for God's sake, don't put up a picture of Mary giving birth to Jesus and Christ.